Welcome to the Jamie Renda podcast, sponsored by Brixton's Baked Potato, the Trump Tater, and Jesse Jean's Cafe today. And my guest today is Anna Davidson.
Hello.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Anna and I are probably on different sides of political. How would you describe where we're at?
Where we're at? I think we're the people that know that there's the middle ground and that you don't have to be far left or far right to have friendships and agreements and compromises.
I like that. A lot of people would perceive us, though, as being
far left, far right?
Yeah, exactly. So by going on that perception, a candidate that might appeal to me may not appeal to you. Is that the
That's
perception?
probably fair, I would say. However, we both agree about Huntsman.
We do.
Yeah.
And so we're excited to talk today about Jon Huntsman on a write-in campaign because we believe that Jon Huntsman will be a governor for all of Utah. Anna, can you tell me a few things that you really like about Jon Huntsman that appeals to you?
I just feel he's very even, very fair-minded. I think he sees far left, far right. I think that he would be the best for Utah.
I do too. One of the things that when I met Jon earlier this year before the coronavirus kicked in, he spoke at several Lincoln Day events, one in Weber County, one in Davis County. And so I went up and talked to him after, but in his presentations, the most passionate thing that he spoke about is mental health.
Yes.
The suicide rates. So what are your feelings on the suicide rate in Utah and mental health?
Well, I think the suicide rate, not even just in Utah, but all over our country, is not being represented clearly enough to us. I think we have a huge issue that's not being addressed in our mental health. We have been doing all this talk about COVID and all these other things, and the thing that we don't have is conversations about mental illness, mental health. We're not openly talking about it. There's been such a stigma surrounded about mental health that we've shamed people over all these years to not talk about it. So instead of being open about, I have depression, I have anxiety, I have bipolar disorder, people have been shamed, and it's not who you are, it's what you have. And I think when we can get people to start openly talking about it, that we can expand our help to each other. You know, the resources are not really readily available for everyone right now, but the more conversation that we can have with each other and talk about it, and oh my God, I feel exactly like that. This is what I do. This is how I react. Then we can give each other channels to open up and take away the shame.
And I think, the shame is a big factor because I think there's not any family that doesn't suffer from some type of mental health issues. And there's some people that you can look at and you know that they probably have some mental health issues because it's been such a factor in their lives that it's deteriorated their life to the point where they're homeless or they're really having problems. But in every family, I don't know any family that hasn't been impacted.
No, I don't either.
And
that's one thing we're really honest about at Jesse Jean's on everything we do. I mean, we have a wall covered in mirrors talking about mental health issues, but we openly talk about my husband's diagnoses and the things that he's been through and my diagnoses. I like to say that I've got those labels that they put on me, the acute anxiety and, the depression, but we openly discuss it because I feel like if someone can look at me like, oh, she's a business owner, she kind of holds it together, but then she openly talks about all these issues and she's honest about it. So it's okay for me to be honest about it. I think the more we do that, the better we can help each other.
I agree. And now Huntsman Foundation has done incredible things on cancer. So I really believe as governor that Jon Huntsman will really take mental health, that's the word I'm looking for, but the study of mental health and the help that can be available. I think he'll take it to the next level where we really understand the brain and how it functions.
Yeah, and I think I read an article where they were going to open a mental health aspect piece, kind of like the Cancer Institute, but for mental health. And it's been a while since I read it, but I was so excited when I read it. I was like, yes, because the Huntsman family cares so much about the beliefs that they have, like the Cancer Institute. And I know that he would just take that aspect of mental health and really push it to the forefront.
So some people that would be maybe in your circles more, just being more on the left, what would be their opposition to Huntsman, and how would you challenge that opposition?
Boy, that's a good question. I don't know, honestly, because I just deal with my views and my perception of him. And so I guess I would kind of have to individually, I'm kind of an individual gal. You got to come at me and have a real conversation and then counter those things. You know, the hard part is you automatically hear somebody say, well, he's Republican, you're Democrat. Or, you know, they don't put any meat into understanding. They don't take the time to research him and see the core value set. And I would really hope that people start doing that. Instead of just labeling each other, we start having real conversations and looking at the things that we agree on and we can do well together, and agree to compromise on the things that we don't agree on. I mean, we don't all, if we were all identical, that would be
boring.
Yes. I was trying to think of a non-swear word.
But one of the things that the last few days as I've kind of put this campaign out there, I've seen all the hate on the conservative side for Jon Huntsman. I've just been amazed, because I'm thinking, what good person will ever want to run for public office with this much hate against them?
Yeah.
So I think we have to be careful that how, even if we disagree with someone or it's someone we're not supporting, like right now I don't support Cox. So that's one of my passionate reasons on why I'm supporting Huntsman. But it's not really, my issue is not so much anti-Cox as it is with some people that are supporting this campaign, is it is pro-Huntsman. I was surprised when I met Jon back in January, because I didn't go into this thinking I was going to support him. But there was just something about him, he seemed so real, where 12 years ago or 14 years ago when he ran the first time, I was a state delegate, and I didn't have that connection with him. I didn't feel that. So I definitely feel I've matured, and I think he's matured, and there's something that's changed about him. But I just had this gut feeling that this is a good person that feels that it's his purpose or his mandate to serve in this position, and that that's where his heart's going to be, and I think he'll do a great job.
And I think he can work with all sides. I mean, he's proven that over the years of the different things that he's done, that he's able to work with different administrations, different viewpoints, different people. And I think that's a huge piece, being able to bring people together on both sides, and I think he does a very good job at that.
Well, you mentioned earlier, and hopefully I'm not going to put you on the spot here, several things that you believe strongly in that a lot of people would feel are conservative issues, but they're really, to me, they're just American.
Right.
So tell our audience, and let's talk about those, on where, you know, things that are kind of thrown on one side or the other are not necessarily a left or right issue.
You know, gun control is one of those things, and the Second Amendment, I feel like, you know, people always believe that's just a conservative issue, and I don't believe that. I think it's our issue. It's the people's issue. We should be able to have that right to carry a gun. I mean, I am a concealed carry permit holder. I'm smart about it. You know what I mean? And the other thing is being small business owners, and the minimum wage controversy is always there. I'm not a supporter of it. I don't feel like minimum wage was originally designed to help give you working experience, and we can't sustain. It's not a livable, sustainable wage like people want to make it, and I feel like that's a very liberal thing. You know, they say we need to give everyone equality, and I believe in you have to earn it. So there's a difference there. I mean, teaching people how to work and giving them the foundation. I've got the $50,000 in student loan debts. So to me, it's like, if you want more, you have to dedicate yourself and get out there and put your heart into it.
I try to, because I have found that as a business owner, if I can get my employees more up to that $13, $14 an hour, I have better employees. But if I had to pay everyone walking in the door that, it would be very hard for me as a small business to stay in operation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the employees that are good, eventually we try to get them up to making better money. But I have some high school students that it is that training ground, and that I'm grateful for the minimum wage. They're grateful for the minimum wage because they're able to learn to do a job, and they're grateful for the job. So. Yeah,
it's all based on that incentive and ability to build that up, and I think that's one of those hot button topics that has come up over the years that I I don't fit my party.
Yeah, and so, and that's, I really agree with you that Jon Huntsman does have that level head, that he sees the need for families to have a sustainable income for their household.
Right.
But he also understands the small business aspect on keeping businesses going. So both of us are small business owners. You want to just talk a little bit about what you've gone through during coronavirus with your business?
Oh, hell. Coronavirus has been hell. It's been a whirlwind of implementing and learning and improvising and worry. You know, we went from being a sit-down place to having to figure out how to navigate completely to go for 3 months, and just when we got our feet underneath us and a process to learn how to do all that, then it switched again. And so it's just been the hardest part about coronavirus has been uncertainty. There's nothing that you can sink your teeth into and know that it's going to be there tomorrow. You just don't. So that constant feeling of the bottom's going to drop out at any moment and you don't know where you're going to land has been the hardest thing for us.
And, you know, it's hard when you recognize that it's impacting you, but when you see all the different channels up and down from my food providers that now I'm out of 3 or 4 different main products that I used to use, in seeing my representatives at those food providers lose their jobs, or the catering venues that I used to have bigger events at, or the dance competitions that were downtown. You see all the different industries that are impacted by this.
The tentacles are just widespread. We don't even realize how far the reach goes of effect.
Yeah. So who do you feel, this is a trick question, would be the best governor to help us in small business?
I still think it would be Huntsman.
Yeah.
I do. When he was just a little bit underneath, you know, during all that, I was like, no, he's got to get it. No, he's got to get it. No, he's got to get it. So I just feel like he would be our best candidate. I have believed that the whole time. So I'm a little disheartened because I'm afraid that if it's not Huntsman, that we're going to have more of the same.
So question, we have 800,000 registered Republicans. We have 450,000 unaffiliated voters. We have 200,000 Democrats. So from the conservative side, I have people challenge me all the time saying, you're going to throw the election to the Democrats by doing this. But the numbers don't match up.
No.
But how many people in the Democratic Party do you feel want this option as well? Because they understand that it's really between Cox and Cox at this point, because Peterson probably doesn't have a chance, does he?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But I don't want to speak for everybody, but I don't think so. I think if they are individuals like myself that are looking at that middle ground, that I think the majority will see that it would be Huntsman. Mm-hmm. You know, I feel like a lot of people are getting kind of sick of the polarization of both sides, and so I'm hoping, my hope is that we start getting back to that common middle ground, and I think the majority of the people can see that Huntsman's that middle ground.
Yeah. And I don't think the middle ground means that we're conceding any of our principles.
No,
I think
not at
it just means that we're at a place in our society that we need to come together.
Exactly.
And I do feel that Huntsman is the person that can bring us together as a state and keep our economy as productive and energetic as it can be. And I like in the fact that Huntsman came out and he was talking about mask mandates. And he said that he really feels like stores that want to have a mask mandate, then and that's important to you, then you patronize those stores. And businesses who don't, then you can patronize those, and it should be individual freedom. I believe it's like that, so don't quote me if I quoted him wrong. But that his was very much on people using the best judgment they can and having the freedoms.
I 100% agree with that. I feel like the mask issue is so polarizing on both sides that if we don't keep that balance like that and allow the people to choose, you know, the one, because you can choose like this is an establishment that is doing masks, and I believe in doing the masks, so I can go here. This is a place that does not agree, so I'm going to go here. I mean, I feel like we have to have that balance and that freedom of choice for people. I don't think we should take that away.
So obviously, there's probably different things pulling us to support Huntsman, but one of the things I hope that we can agree on is that we don't have to fight about what those reasons are.
No.
And I like Huntsman because he has a good relationship with Trump, and I feel like it's important. Where other people that don't like Trump may see that as a negative, but hopefully they can look at the values that they feel Huntsman has and support that. So one of the things in this campaign, it's write in Huntsman or at write in Huntsman or at Draft Jon, that as you join, realize we don't want infighting. We're all in it for different reasons, and so I just hope we can all come together who feel that Jon Huntsman would be the best governor for Utah. Do you have any last comments or anything you'd like to say about Jon on this?
No, I think you've hit the nail on the head. I just feel like he's our best person to lead us.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Hannah.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
We're shaking hands.
We're shaking hands.
We're going to sanitize after.
Yeah. No, just kidding.